Hey y'all, while I was recording this video, I realized that I ain't giving y'all a full view. And I'm kind of setting you up for failure. While I was editing this video, I realized I made some drastic mistakes. Mistakes I always tell people to avoid, mistakes I didn't expect. I got totally thrown off. And I want to make sure you don't make those mistakes either. So go ahead and watch the interview, but stay till the end where I tell you the mistakes that I made and how you can correct them. So it is raining, thunderstorming outside, but I have this interview. And so I'm on. Last time we used Teams, now we're using Zoom. Two different people scheduled this meeting, or this interview. So I'm waiting to see. My interview is for 4. It's 4:02. I'm just hoping I used the right link. And I'm pretty sure I did. I'm gonna just peek and make sure these links are like the same. Okay, it's possible that I'm not on the right link. So I'm just gonna leave and then come back in. Okay. Yeah, I was already in there. So I'm gonna open it again. All right, meeting starting.
Hey, Tika.
Hello. How are you?
Good, how are you?
This is why I like people working at home. Now I see this like personality. So we like music, specifically guitars.
My husband does.
Oh, you do too, because you're working in it every day. Stop it. I love it.
I look at it all day long.
I
I will show
know.
you over here. There's a pile of toys, and
We don't show that stuff. Oh gosh, love it. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place, aren't I?
I love it. No, listen.
that's why I keep my background this way, because it's a great conversation point.
Well, I won't show you. That's why I have a fake background today.
Oh man, your background makes me want to go take a little nap.
Oh, it looks so nice.
Oh,
and
does
cozy.
it? And then
on the couch.
And then on top of that, like it's storming outside. So isn't it like a perfect don't do it. I got other things I gotta do. Stop making me
I gotta
focus. Oh my goodness. It's such a setup.
There's 8 of us on the talent management team. We work as part of a larger people and culture team, which is getting close to 70-ish people, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we work very, very closely with our HR partners, our recruiters, our finance partners, our L&D friends. As a team, as a talent management team, I would say that we have something pretty special, and I'm not just saying that because it's our team. I just think that we all work really well together and want to help each other in any way that we can. It's all about rolling up your sleeves and doing whatever we can to support the business and the leaders that we support and the relationships that we've built. Tell us about you, though.
This sounds crazy, but this is truly just my thought plan, right? Because my entire family has been a family of, let's get a job. If we get a good job, we marry it. If we get a decent job, then we're just going to stay there because we need it, right? And I was like the unique unicorn in my family, where in 7th grade, our teacher kept humping on the fact that like, technology is going to take over. All of the jobs that your parents have won't exist. And she was right. At least 80% of those jobs either don't exist or a computer does majority of it. Back then I thought, okay, well, I'll be an OBGYN. I'll be a doctor because it's going to be a lifetime or more before I can see, a robot pulling a baby out and giving it life, right? As I went to school, College of Charleston, and it wasn't long after that I found myself struggling through domestic violence, and so that changed my plan. It was a lot of court, a lot of counseling, a lot of just outside support of just keeping me focused, keeping me sane. When I got through that situation, it was a lot of the stalking and things like that that made me realize I can't go to the library late, I can't go to the lab late, things like that. And so I thought, well, what do? I'll be a nurse. So I got my bachelor's, went to nursing school, and became a CNA, and hated every second of it. Late 20s, I had what I thought was a midlife crisis of what do I do? I've always planned my life. I know what plan A, B, and C are. What do I do? My sister was like, go to grad school. I'm like, that's for smart people. She's like, you are smart. So I went to school to get an MBA and was told like, okay, you need elective classes. And that's when my girlfriend, she was like, you should do HR. It's the only classes in school that really makes sense to me because it's stuff we do or encounter every day. Yeah. And I got in, and it was truly an epiphany moment. I was like, I love this stuff. And then at the same time, I had already started government contracting, just being a technical writing. And I got laid off from that and started working as a part-time HR assistant, $12 an hour, $20 a week. And as horrible as my check looked and as much money as I still needed, I loved going into work every day. And so it just continued to go from there. So I love HR.
I love learning about you. Your background's awesome. I did some epiphanies like that. Where you're like, oh God, I hate this.
Yeah.
Let's dig into some stuff. I want to hear about your experience with employee data, employee surveying, things like that. We're kind of explaining a little bit where the central region's at. They're in some rebuilding and trying to really figure out employee listening and understanding what's happening and being able to drive action based on whether it's analytics or survey data, feedback, things like that. Being able to be a talent partner that helps the business to drive decisions based on the information that we have, like people data. I'd love to hear your experience with having done that in the past. If you've ever been able to use survey data or any type of data to help drive decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, I truly feel like data tells the story, right? I mean, I can tell you whatever I want to tell you, but what's happened is what's happened. I can't manipulate that information. My first place in really dabbling into data was obviously, oh yes, I need to pull a census report because we were going to negotiate benefits, right? So that was the first place. But did I really pay attention to that information? I pulled it, made sure everything was there, and then sent it on to Blue Cross Blue Shield and Unum and all of those. But then over time, we started an aggressive recruiting strategy where we went from just posting a job, getting 5 applicants, interviewing 2 to 3, and then picking somebody. And only the manager had met this person. Well, with our new CEO, he decided, I want something more aggressive. I want the employees to feel a part of it. We came up with a 3 to 4 step interview process. I went from posting jobs to 2 to 3 job boards to like 19 different job boards. And I went to posting like 1 requisition to posting 20 with multiple openings. And so I wanted to see like what resources is it worth spending money into. So it was really a lot of recruiting data that I used then on like which job boards is not only giving me candidates, but which ones are quality candidates, which ones give us more bang for our buck. So kind of pulling all the data from the ATS, and then I'd sit with our data specialist, and me and her would make it go through where we'd use like Power BI and give a quick overview and then go down into the layers. And so that's what I did my weekly managers meeting, and that made them really have a good buy-in to it. I would then present it at town halls, and our employees loved it. They felt like, okay, we've really created something that's neutral, and they felt a part of the process. So mainly that's where I kind of started with diving into data, and it just drove me into saying, okay, if data told this much of the story, how much can it tell later? So as an HR business partner, I found myself using it even more than I did even as a director, because I had these multiple verticals and business units across the globe that I needed to not just tell them my gut feeling, which I trusted, but give them something in their face that I could say, this is what validates my gut. And so I would use that for performance management, right? So I would look at my calibration sheets and then look at who are my top performers, but I'm not just going to look at them. Who's suffering bad? What departments are they in? What's their tenure? Who's their manager? What are they working on? Are there resources that we can provide? Is there a performance management that we need to start? Is it just a conversation that needs to happen? Is there a manager that I need to groom? And so I would use the data from those performance management calibration sheets that we'd use to kind of extract information from the performance management that's already been completed, the performance review, and then kind of help me drive people decisions with that. I also use, compensation data from just several different places because, you can always use a compensation analysis. We didn't have one. We didn't have the budget for one, but I didn't trust data from one place, especially when we talk about multiple regions and multiple people and different unique tech positions. And so I'd use data for that as well. I'd also use data to just help my executive leaders kind of really pigeonhole into what's important when I sit down and do depending on the leader, it may be a monthly meeting, it may be a quarterly meeting. So I wanted them to see who's failing, who's doing well, who has the potential to do even better. What areas do we need to fill? Do we have talent here? We can look at our data on the dashboard that I created to say who's a top performer, who's eager to learn more, who has the capacity for more. I would also use that to say what does attrition look like? Do we need to hire? Is there talent here that we can already use? What areas are we having a high turnover? Is it the same area? Or is it multiple areas across the org? What part in their career growth are they falling apart? Because maybe it's not the employee, it's our organization. We're not providing the right career path, the career growth, the career trajectory, the resources. Personally, I love data. Wherever I can grab it, I grab it and I dive in.
Love it. Love it. Well, there's plenty of it.
Yes,
There's so much.
From it.
Good.
I love what you said about kind of bringing, in order to get the leaders buy-in, like bringing them stories, bringing them potential problems to solve. It kind of leads me just to, obviously we talked a lot about like relationships and how important that is, and trust, and how we're showing up as partners. But just tell me a little bit about how you build trust, how you maintain trust through, there's going to be times where there's difficult, or there might be differences of opinions on which direction to go, and sometimes we have to acquiesce and go the direction that we want to go, and sometimes we have to let go and let them go the direction they want. But just would love to know about that and how you've built relationships in the past, and if you have one in particular that you're really proud of, or that you saved before. Maybe it was a difficult leader or someone that was challenging. Would just love to hear about that.
Yeah. It's so hard for me to pick one, because I thank the Lord that like through my career I have leaders from my very first HR job who still reach out and like pick my brain, to leaders who, they literally cried tears, or they're like, let me connect with you here, or because I don't do the connecting on social media, but LinkedIn, sure. But there are a few that's gotten into, my personal space because we've just built such a good relationship. I think that the biggest thing for me is like in times when I'm stepping into an organization, I like to be an observer. I want to learn personalities. I truly believe in a blank slate tabula rasa mentality of like, I don't really pay attention or want to hear what other people say, or I don't take it for gospel. Let's say that, right? I want to give you a blank slate, and my interactions with you builds that slate. So that builds the level of trust that I give you, that builds the level of confidence, that builds what I think you may know, where I think you can improve, that type of thing. So I first like to start with that type of mentality with any manager, and I like them to know all that they can about me. So I look at what does their managing style look like, or what does their communication style look like with HR? What's their relationship? You do have some leaders that are very skeptical. Throughout my career, I've had some that are skeptical of HR, and then when I leave, they're like, "Now I love HR, and you're the only person in HR I love." But it's such a particular thing, because I feel like everybody's different. So I'd hate to say this is a way that I've worked with managers. I work with a manager and how we've grown that relationship. The second thing is that if that's me coming into an organization, right? Let's say I've been here and I've at the past organization, I've been there and had executive leaders come in. Well, I try to prepare as much as I can for them. I try to, since I already have this report that I've been maintaining of what their business unit looks like from an HR standpoint, all people aspects, I try to give a little bit more history with it. I might pull old, performance reviews. I might pull exit interviews. I might pull where I've done like pilot meetings with our employees, where I'm just doing like small groups, focus groups. And I might pull all of that information together. And then I might go back and say, okay, let me look at some of our old town halls and what are some of the areas that I thought I was focusing on, but I should give them a broader overview. And so for the managers or the executive leaders and directors that are okay with getting that information ahead of time, I've only had like not even a handful. I would send that ahead of time. The other ones, I would plan out, what does our first 2 weeks look like? Can you get immersed with the company and everything, and learn what their communication style is like, and then give them as much information as they can absorb. I don't believe in like, okay, I'm just going to vomit all this information on you. Let's work through the chunks of it all. Set up meetings around it so it can become something cohesive. When you meet with certain people, then I'll give a deeper dive of what the people side of that department looks like. And so that's really what I find myself doing throughout my career. It works really well. I shared where it might not work, and it's okay, but I still always get the work done. That might not be my favorite meeting of the day, but we're going to get it done.
Oh, that's so great. Really want to know about your leadership style when it comes to, your direct reports, not necessarily your partnerships, but direct report leading.
I always like a collaborative leadership style. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm just pushing you where to go, because I feel like the best way that you can learn is through experience. So even though you can't do my job, I like for you to help in on areas or be exposed to areas that you might not traditionally see, and see how that works for you. And the next thing is like, I also like that I keep track of like, what is our timeline? What does this look like? What goals are we trying to achieve? Because at times, I might step in a little bit authoritative and give like, okay, we're going to get this done by this time. I think that's the time when you can kind of tell that, okay, Tamika's no longer being as relaxed as she was because now she's giving me deadlines. I like to try to see where people will go. Some people get them done way early, so why give you a deadline? Some people are gonna, kind of play around, and then you gotta whip them into shape, But why give you a deadline of next week when you can have it done in 2 days? I had an intern, and she would get things done so quick. I'm like, hold on, I haven't thought about next steps. And so for her, it let me realize that I could give her even more. I kind of go between those two leadership styles overall with anyone. I think it's the Gemini in me that will adjust according to what we need to get done, the personality, what's going on in that person's life, what's going on in my life, how is the company going. And when I say what's going on, it has to be something that makes sense, right? Maybe you just lost a parent. I'm not going to be as difficult because I've had that happen. I'm going to be a little bit more lenient and work with the resources that we have. Maybe your direct report under you, maybe there's going to be opportunity for them to learn. So when I say what's going on in your life, I don't mean that you just want to get off early to go to a happy hour. I mean, what is really going on? Are you going through a divorce? Are you having a baby? I think that's where I am. Like, I hate when someone's like, this is my leadership style. Sometimes it just has to change or evolve or adjust.
Yeah. It's about their leader they need. Yeah. Love that. But thanks. And I do love that she really is just so special. So
that's a large part of what's made me eager, but also nervous about every interview. I'm like, I really want to work here.
Oh, don't be nervous.
Yeah, don't be nervous at all. And honestly, we'd love to hear what questions you have about, the organization.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna just pull up my Google sheet where I've just dropped some questions.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm not necessarily worried about because I've implemented and sourced and reviewed so many different systems when it comes to HRSs and ATSs, but it's been a while since I haven't worked with one that I'm already familiar with. I've had worked with in the past. Am I right that you guys use Workday?
That's right.
Okay. So do you find it to have a lot of resources where I could learn on demand?
Yes, I do. And I think that one thing that I would say with Workday is even if you've had experience with it, the way that we use Workday is not the same.
Oh, good. Perfect.
No, I say that to say a lot of grace will be needed with yourself. And we change things all the time. I changed a process last week that I didn't, or 2 weeks ago. The short answer is yes. But what I will say is that we do have a fantastic Workday team underneath the people and culture department. And so they help. I mean, I have him on speed dial, literally. I am him literally 15 times a day when I can't figure something out or
so in-house.
Right across an issue. Yes, in-house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, but the way that we've set everything up in Workday just due to the complexities of our business makes the way we utilize Workday kind of unique. So even if you had a ton of Workday experience, you'd be coming in learning a lot of new things.
Okay.
I guess is what
people to be able to help you with the Workday administrative things. It's not really the bulk of your work will not be. It's more being able to find the information, less of having to be able to make the transactions, to be honest.
Good.
We have a Teams chat and we are always throwing things in there. How do you do this? Or does anybody know what this report is? And so we just help each other.
Oh, good. So then I don't feel stupid alone. Okay, good.
Oh, gosh, no. The amount of
and about the DEI, which I was just so proud of because I just feel like it's a needed piece that people debate about for political reasons. And one minute everybody loves it, next minute everybody hates it, and nobody even knows what the heck it is. And it's if you learn what it is, you realize it's so far from just the surface level things. But one thing I do want to know across your entire organization, and I'm totally asking for a range because there's around 4,000 employees, am I right? Total.
Five.
This every day.
Okay. Totally expect that. On an average, what's your average tenure across the entire org? If you had to just throw a number out, no data, no polling reports, just.
What's tough about our tenure? So I'll just throw this out there. Our average tenure is somewhere around 7 years. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because we've grown through acquisition. We acquire people and we honor their seniority date, their service date. And so it gets a little muddy. So it depends on which you're asking. Because if we acquire their company, we have people that have been in their companies that we acquired 40, 50, somewhere 20 to 50 years. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of can skew, because we've only been in existence for 25 years.
So how can you be here 40 years?
Our tenure, then what I'm really proud of is we've we've purchased and acquired organizations that had really, really strong, dedicated workers that had stuck with those organizations for a long time. What am I trying to say?
No, I get it. And they didn't leave after you guys acquired them, because usually that
There's
can
like
happen.
a word for that, but I can't think of it today.
It's just us, you're not.
Loyal.
Okay, there we go, loyal. And it's always the simple words, isn't it?
I know. Like, what?
Do you guys anticipate any mergers, acquisitions, divestitures later?
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, there was one year I think we did 50 acquisitions, because culture. You brought it up before, like the concept of finding a place where you belong and you can be your authentic self is always going to be the most important thing. So there's only so many organizations out there that we would want to acquire that have the same values as us, and so we want to start growing organically internally more than through acquisition. I've seen us walk away from organizations that did not have the same values as us. That would have been a great financial decision, but we said, no thanks. If you can't treat people the way that we treat people, then you will not be part of us. And I've seen us walk away from very, very big checks for that reason alone.
Oh man, I totally have lost count the number of reasons why I really want to join this company.
I think that's the beauty of this role, is being the problem solver. Like, yeah. I hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Here's what we can do. Here's how I'm going to be your advocate. Here's how I'm going to support you. We're going to get through this, even if it's not exactly how you wanted it or how you drew it up. But I think that's where we come into play, and so that's what makes it fun. Makes it fast paced, really fast paced, but it makes it fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. So no like unions or anything like that. Yeah. Someone mentioned to me, and I feel like it was the recruiter, about like travel. What does that look like?
Yeah, so travel can vary. I would say there's going to be opportunities to travel. However, by no means are you going to feel forced to travel. There's opportunities for sure, and I think that, probably if you think about it on a quarterly basis, like once a quarter, probably at times, maybe sometimes more, but that's really based on your schedule. Everybody has a life outside of work, what you want to do, what you can do. Kind of you get to pick. Like, is it more important for you to be at this leadership meeting, or is it more important for you to just zoom in for that?
But not once has someone been like, what, you can't come?
Okay.
Not once. There is travel, but it's really up to you what it looks like.
Okay, now I can see why there's such a difference between your two numbers. You said like once per quarter, and I think that the recruiter said 3 to 5 times per quarter. She said, yeah. So
you probably could have that many times if you wanted, but I would say that the majority of us, we do have a budget, so that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
But what I love about it, I just say, hey, everybody, here's your budget for the year. You guys spend it how you want, whether that means how you want to prioritize your travel, if you want to give a spot bonus, if you want to do something like that, like it's your money, you think about how you want to spend it. It's really fun to be able to lead a group of people that just want to work together, and like we just have fun and we support each other, and when we have bad days we talk about it, and I feel very, very, very blessed that I get to work with this amazing group of people. So
I left on a voluntary buyout, but it was so it became a no-brainer. Initially, when we thought about the whole voluntary buyout, it was all like, let me think about what questions employees may have and how can I support them. It became a no-brainer, but it was difficult because you know when you work with people for a while, you kind of want to see how they work out. Like you want to see that success story, you want to see the end of the story. So it was like, should I? But for once, I put myself first in my career.
Well, we're at time. Happy to answer any questions, open book. It's been such a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I love our conversation. So it's been great to meet you.
Like, I'm so excited to have this potential of joining the team.
If you think of anything, just reach out. We're here.
Will do. Thank you.
What you're seeing is interview number 3. It was a 5-step interview process, and I made it through the first 3 interviews. And after I sat down, it just kind of threw me off. I was speaking about this with the YouTube membership, but I was telling them that I just lost my dog, and since I just lost my dog, that was right before I lost my dog. And so in the second interview, we were just kind of doing like regular little chit chat, and it came up because my dog started like coughing really bad during the interview. And they were talking about their dogs, and I was like, yeah, my dog's here. I don't know if you guys can hear, and like apologizing. They couldn't hear her, so they said, I don't think they could hear, but They were like, you know, really empathetic about my dog being sick and me telling them that my dog was like terminally ill. The second thing is that the person that referred me for that job was one of my mentees for years. Like I've mentored her since probably like the beginning of Heyyy HR. I didn't know the level of what she shared with them, and I've just never done that before. Not a bad thing, but I've just never done that before. And so those two factors came up at the beginning of the interview, and it just shook me, and I just couldn't get it back. And so some of the errors that I made during that interview, I had to like write them down because I wanted to make sure y'all know, like, do not do everything I did. My answer seemed good because one, it was edited. My answers were one, that's the first issue. My answers were too damn long. So let's start there. You always want to make sure that you keep your answers to like 3 minutes or less. Y'all, I was going into 5, 6, 7 minutes on answering questions. So that's the first thing that you want to make sure you avoid. The best way to keep your answers short and to keep them under 3 minutes is to make sure that you use like the PAR method or the STAR method. They're very, very similar. And what I'll do is I'll put the PAR method and the STAR method right here. You can screenshot or whatever you need to do, but you want to make sure that you use that format. For each one, you should give yourself several different scenarios and use those answers over and over again in different interviews. And so when you do that, that helps you keep it short. That helps you point out what was the situation or the problem, that points out what was your actions and what was the result, so it shows a full view of whatever they're asking about. So I did that on those interviews, but I gave multiple PAR responses or STAR responses. Bad idea. Just stick to one per question. It was just my nerves. So the next thing is when you like go to introduce yourself, just keep it at a quick elevator pitch. I talk about the elevator pitch all the time. I'll put it up here as well. You want to make sure that you're telling someone and introducing yourself as quick as may take you to be in an elevator for a couple seconds or a couple minutes. Like you want your interview or you want your introduction to mean something and to be impactful. I have an elevator pitch and I strayed from that because I went diving into making it comfortable when I was talking like about our backgrounds. And then when they asked me about those two things, it threw my elevator pitch off. I've been doing my elevator pitch for years, got it to a T. Still went too long on my elevator pitch. The next thing is I never thought about doing this. This is totally my first time doing this, but recording my interview was so helpful because I help a lot of like mentees with interview prep. Ironic, right? That I'm telling y'all errors, but I'm in a whole emotional state. Like my life is for 2025 has been crazy, so I ain't even surprised I messed up in that way. But or I got to give myself grace. Let me put it that way. But what I will tell you is that like if you are very intentional about how you want to interview, then look at yourself. I always tell people to prepare for the interview by looking in the mirror, but me recording gave me clarity. When I got off the interview, I just had this pit feeling in my stomach, like in my stomach pit of like, that didn't go well. But I couldn't really put my finger on it. When I went back to edit it and watch the recording, oh, I could easily see what I did wrong. I probably would have hesitated or not hired me too. The next thing is you want to research before you do the interview. Research the company, research the people, look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on Glassdoor, whatever you need to do, because that's very, very helpful. Now, I was given resources during the first interview and from the recruitment team that was super duper helpful. So it helped me to create questions and it helped me to feel comfortable and be excited about this company. Make sure you send thank you notes to each person that interviewed you, and make sure you send those thank you notes like within 24 hours after interview. Could be short, quick, to the point. Quick interview, quick thank you notes. And I created the Get Your Foot in the Door Masterclass, mini course. And I'll put the link to it and as well as the QR code because I go through and give you like the templates for a thank you note, the templates for a follow-up, all of that stuff in there. The next thing is remove your emotions. That stumped me, guys. And I know that my emotions were already high. Like I already kind of had a little bit of anxiety and a little nervousness and like for so many reasons. It was like, am I ready to go back to work? Is this the company I really should be going to? What am I going to do? Because my other leads are dying down and I don't want just one opportunity. Like I really want to compare them one-on-one opportunity. And my mind was just all over the place, to be honest with you. And so that really messed with my emotions. But then going and talking about my dog, who I knew only had 6 months to a year left to live and was just showing that she was very, very sick, messed me completely up. And then for them to have told me about Heyyy HR. I never interview and tell anybody about Heyyy HR since like I first started Heyyy HR because I quickly saw that people thought that, okay, she must be a YouTube star. She's going to quit on us. And my interview would turn focus all about Heyyy HR. not about what I knew and how I can do it. And I could see that people became intimidated. Like, oh, well, she feels like she can coach other people and teach other people. Like, should she really be working for us and things like that? That was my first time talking about Heyyy HR intentionally in an interview and like being confident with it. But also it was something I didn't rehearse, something I didn't prepare, because it was something I didn't think I was going to be talking about. All right, so the last thing is, do not change from your prep work. Whatever you have prepared, your elevator pitch, your answers to your questions, do not change from that, regardless how good or bad the interview is going. If the interview is going bad, yeah, you probably want to do a little bit of massaging. But don't change from your answers, because I did that. I added in more. I gave more. It was just horrible. This interview was 60 minutes long, and I only had 22 minutes to share with y'all. A whole lot of it was personal that I couldn't share. But the rest of it was a lot of me with nervous laughs and things like that. And I just know that those are my responses when I'm completely uncomfortable, but also vulnerable. Completely uncomfortable, but also vulnerable. So I just wanted to tell you, don't beat yourself up. I'm very proud of myself for making it to interview number 3 of 5 different interviews. I'm very proud of myself for being attractive enough for that position. That was a very good company, and had a whole lot of things that meet on my checklist. And so I'm giving myself grace, child. And I want you to do the same, because at the end of the day, we're not gonna get them all. And I also feel like the Lord has my steps divinely in order, and I trust that He is ordering me to the right opportunity and at the right time. Just avoid the mistakes that I made.